What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Tim, back with another video, back out in nature, taking a little walk like I love to do down here by the lake. The snow melted, that fell a couple days ago, so I'm able to get outside, enjoy myself, be in nature, something I haven't been able to do in a long time, so I'm super excited. But I wanted to turn the camera on, bring y'all with me, and I wanted to talk today about happiness, okay? And more specifically, I wanted to talk about the question of whether or not chasing happiness in life can lead to failure. Or is living a life where happiness is your main goal setting you up for failure? Now, the reason I came up with this video topic is because recently I was honored to have Coach Greg Adams of Free Agent Lifestyle review one of my videos. He reviewed my American Dream video, the video about why I quit the American Dream. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to it in the description box below. I'll also leave a link to Coach's review of it. So he reviewed my video, and it's always interesting watching someone else review one of your videos, but he watched about 7.5 minutes of it, and surprisingly, we agreed on a lot of topics. A lot of the stuff I said, he kind of agreed with. There were some areas where we didn't agree. And one of those where we kind of had differing views was when it comes to chasing happiness. Anybody who knows me knows that happiness is the end goal in my life. Okay. That's what I'm all about. I just want to be happy. And Coach had just kind of said that, you know, he even has a little funky little buzzer he plays that someone's saying like, I just want to be happy. It's a little sound bite he plays. And, you know, so he kind of is one of those people who I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think he might kind of think that you're a little naive. You know, if you just spend your whole life chasing happiness, you're just a tad bit naive and like there's more to life than that. And that you might be setting yourself up for failure if all you're trying to do is just be happy. So I wanted to do this video and kind of talk about, you know, my views on that and kind of give my, you know, an explanation of why happiness to me and chasing happiness to me is the end goal. And I don't think it's naive, and I don't think it's setting yourself up for failure. Now, I will admit, a lot of the reason why I feel like, hang on one second here, folks. There's some bugs out here that were getting in my eyes earlier down here by this lake. When I was here last time, all this was kind of growed up. You couldn't walk this close to it. So I'm kind of enjoying walking this close to it. But there are bugs. It is nature. So I will admit that the reason why I'm so like keen on happiness and like that's all I really care about, or one of the few things I really care about in this life, has a lot to do with my views of this life. So I'm kind of more on like, I try to live on more like a spiritual level. Okay? I'm not very concerned about all this earthly stuff. A lot of this earthly stuff that everybody else is worried about and worked up about isn't real to me. I've said that for many, many years. I'm like, sometimes I look around in this world, it just doesn't seem real to me. I consider myself an energy being, a being comprised of energy. And currently, that energy is in a human body, and I'm experiencing what it's like to be a human. That is not the be-all and end-all of who I am. It's just what I currently am doing, okay? So I'm all about just having as many positive experiences as I can on this planet. Actually, I'm about experiences. If some of them happen to be negative, well, you know, they may not be the most fun, but it's a good experience. You know, so I'm about having as many experiences as possible, just seeing as much of this planet that I'm currently on, just interacting with as many of the beings and as much of the nature on this planet as I can. And I want to be happy, or as happy as possible, during this existence. That's all I really care about. Happiness is up here. All this other stuff is down here. Now, I understand for a lot of other people, instead of them just being like, I want to be happy and, you know, chase after that and then come what may, a lot of other people are like, unless I have X, Y, Z, or I'm doing A, B, C, or have this in my life, I can't be happy. So they go after those other things. They go after those things, and if they get them, then they figure they'll be happy. I'm different. I go after happiness, and all that other stuff I just let it fall into place, however it falls into place. Or those things are secondary to me trying to be happy. And I know some people will say things like, happiness can't pay the bills. But I say things like, if I'm happy, even if I can't pay the bills or I'm broke, I still win because I'm happy. If I'm living in a refrigerator box under the Golden Gate Bridge, but I'm happy, well, I still win. I'm happy. You know what I mean? If I'm happy, it doesn't matter the situation or the circumstance I'm in because I'm happy. So that's why I go after happiness. That's why happiness is the main goal for me. That's why I've sacrificed certain things in life that other people might think are crazy, given up certain things that other people might think aren't, adult, aren't the smart thing to do because it wasn't making me happy. Money doesn't always make you happy. A lot of us broke, poor people don't believe that. But if you ask rich people, they will tell you. Money doesn't always make you happy. So I don't make decisions in my life solely based on how I get the most money. Material possessions don't always make you happy. Now, I just want to say, because I know some people are already in the comments, sometimes money can make you a little happier. Sometimes money is the thing that contributes to your happiness. Sometimes certain material possessions can make you happy. But not always. So that's why I don't just blindly go after money. I don't just blindly go after material possessions. I don't just blindly go after lustful things. You know what I mean? Because happiness is the goal. I'm not pursuing, I don't just look at what other people say will make me happy and go after that. And also, there will be instances where, it might not be going after something. It might be like, okay, this is the situation we're in. How do we be happy in this situation? Happiness isn't always contingent on acquiring something else or doing something else. Sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, this is what I got, this is what I'm doing, this is what's going on. How do I get happy in this situation? And that's what I spend a lot of my time on, is trying to be at peace, contentment, gratitude, things of that nature that allow me to be a lot happier in whatever situation I'm in, as opposed to people who kind of have to have certain things going their way or they're not happy. A lot easier to be happy when you're grateful than when you're entitled. Because when you're entitled, you always feel like you deserve more, you're not happy. When you're grateful, you always feel blessed. You can be happy even with very little. But I do understand that a lot of people think like, oh, just making decisions based on your happiness, that can lead to you being broke. We're very concerned in this world about money and finances. And I get that, because we live in a society, sadly, that revolves around money for the most part. Okay? And once again, I'm not anti-money. I appreciate having the money to be able to travel around. I appreciate having the money to have a place to stay. Food to eat, the money to survive. To survive and a little extra. I appreciate that. But I'm not going to make decisions solely based on what is the best financial decision. If there's a happiness decision or financially, if there's a decision that I think is going to make me happier and it conflicts with a decision that's going to make me more money, I'm going to go with the happiness. And I think a lot of times people who maybe live and are a lot more wrapped up in the earthly things and are a lot more concerned about, their bank account and retirement, and their well-being and their health and all these other people who are very wrapped up in possessions and all this other stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's how you choose to play this game called life. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that I know we see the world kind of differently. People who are a lot more wrapped up in the earthly things, and there's certain metrics they want to hit when it comes to money and possessions and things of that nature. It doesn't make sense to them a lot of times, the decisions some of us make, because it makes us happier. Doesn't make sense to them. And I get that. I respect that. It doesn't have to. But I'm on the other side of the field. I just want to be happy. You know what I mean? I don't need, I don't get very wrapped up and very worried about my financial situation in the future. I really don't. I really don't. And someone is already commenting. Someone will probably say, well, when you're, broke and, you know, living in a tent down by that lake you're walking by, you won't feel the same way. I think I will, but if I don't, well, I'll just have to deal with it then. I'll just have to figure out how, as a person broke, living in a tent by this lake, to be happy. Because that's what it's about. For me, it is this perpetual, how can I get happy? How can I stay happy? And even in situations that might cause me pain, might cause me suffering, it's still the same game. It's still the same game for me. It's always the same game. But I understand for other people, it's always about, like, how can I set myself up so that I have enough money, or so that I have enough of this, enough of that, blah, blah, blah. Very worried about that. I'm one of those people who isn't that worried about it. I'm just not that worried about it. I am willing to take the consequences that come with me living the life I live. I'm not naive about it. I totally understand. I totally understand that if I made different decisions in my life, I'd probably be in a different place financially. Though I will argue there's no way we can know that I'd be in a better place. I might be in a worse place. I would argue that a lot of decisions I've made in recent years, where I went after my joy and went after happiness, actually led to, like, some really cool financial stuff. Not being naive, I feel like I'm being an adult. You know, I still pay my bills. I still give to charity. I still put money in the bank. But a lot of these earthly, mankind, you know, money, possession, you know, career, prominence, power, that stuff don't do nothing for me. That stuff doesn't do anything for me. And so the decisions I make have nothing really to do with those. And if it turns out that decisions I make in future lead to me living a life that most people would look at and say was less than ideal, then I will just I'll deal with that. And in that framework, I'll have to figure out how to be happy. It's very simple. I keep telling you, life's very simple. Life is very simple. For me, very simple. It's just, I just do what I love with people I love. That's my compass, you know what I mean, that I go after. Is this going to be doing something you love with people you love? If it's no, I don't care what the other perks are. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. You know, sometimes I get a little off course, have to bring myself back, but that's my compass. Am I doing something I love with people I love? That's the goal. Happiness is the goal. And like I said, if other people don't live that way and there's other things that they, you know, care about more than happiness, I get that. And in their view, yes, it might seem weird, some of the decisions I make, but they have to understand that, like, my end game isn't the same as their end game. My end game isn't to make it to 65 and have X amount of money in retirement and be able to do so and so and so and so. No. My end game is to make it to 65, be happy. I don't care if we broke. I don't care if we have $1 million. You know, if $1 million in retirement somehow comes from me making the decisions I'm making, cool. I'll take it. If it doesn't, though, it doesn't. And I'm not really too concerned about it because all I have to do is get through this life. And I'm not going to spend my whole life trying to hit metrics that don't matter to me. Happiness is the metric that matters to me. That's the metric I'm trying to hit. And I know a lot of people just don't get that, but they don't have to. They don't have to. This is not a video to try to convince anyone I'm right. I live the life that's right for me. I want everyone to live the life that's right for them, do what they do. And so you'll never hear me say that the decisions anyone makes aren't right, aren't right. Because they may feel like it's right for them. And if their life turns out the way they want it to turn out, then we've all won. But as for me, I'm about that happiness. I'm trying to get real happy, ladies and gentlemen. I am about that happiness. That's the decisions I make come down to that. And once again, I do it with a clear mind, knowing that my life probably won't look like what other people think is a successful life, but I'm cool with that.